for inviting me. It's the first time I'm here, and I'll try very hard to stay within half an hour. I have a lot I would like to tell you about, because when Erik asked me to tell what a land surveying company is using GPS for, it's really quite a lot. So I'll have to try to limit myself. I'm a partner of Danish land surveying company LE34. We are by far the largest company in Denmark and even in Northern Europe, with today around 350 staff members. Today I also have to mix a little bit with our sister company called GPSnet, because they're our GPS RTK provider. Usually we try to keep it apart, but for this one session I'll take the freedom to mix the two companies. I'll try to tell which is which, so you don't get too confused. I'm also a part of the GPSnet, so it's sometimes we even have a hard time finding out ourselves. So where do we use GNSS? Basically, we are in GeoTeam running a nationwide reference net called GPSnet. This tells you something about when it was when it originates from. It started with the GPS signal. Then we got the Glonass. In January, we were the first to announce that we had adopted the Galileo and even the Beidou signals on the open services, because we're trying to make money here. Right now we're having a little, I think we could call it childhood challenges with Galileo. Somehow for the open service there's some kind of mismatch to the others, so instead of getting higher positions we're getting a little divergences, but I really think it is childhood troubles. We just opened the dialogue with these about it, so I'm quite sure that we can overcome it. The system today is an RTK system with an accuracy of 2 centimeters. It's certified by the Danish Styrelsen for Dataforsyning og Effektivitet, SDFI, our old cadastral directory. And it's having actually a certified uptime of 100%. Now this is because we can use the different services. So actually it's, to us it's not crucial that the Galileo part is 100% up all the time. It might influence a little bit on the accuracy for a short period, but with all the systems we actually see them as complementary rather than in competition. We will expect this 2 centimeter accuracy to come down when we have the Galileo running in full scale. Now one purpose on the land surveying side of GPS is construction monitoring. This illustration is actually from a Swedish project, but it could as well have been a Danish railroad dam, where we use the GPS on this kind of systems. Usually we would use post-processing to get a high accuracy down to 2 millimeters instead of the RTK signal. And then we increase our observations with total stations that are connected to the GPS points, so that we are able to have multiple points observed. So we are having an automated system with GPS and total stations working together. So first you get the absolute coordinates from the GPS system. Then you take those as reference for the total stations working in the same area, and you can densify your monitoring network for construction monitoring. And in this area we're working on accuracies of 1, 2, 3 centimeters. This is actually usually demand from like the railroad authorities. and we're talking world coordinates, and we're talking simultaneous observations. So this is systems that, when we use them as automated systems, are on-the-fly calculations and so on. So you're actually having on the client side web access to live data with only a very few minutes of delay. I'll have to do a little drawing with the risk of running a little bit over time. If you have an excavation in ground, the second you start digging in ground, you're a little bit not knowing what you're doing because you don't know the exact environment that you're digging in. If you're having an excavation, you'll have some pile walls, you'll have some ground anchors, you'll have some beams. This could be for a railroad tunnel. Then you will have some kind of structures around the excavation pit. And what we would do is that we would usually incorporate two kinds of monitoring sensors. Now, if I use this symbol for X, Y, Z, then you know it's something like this, and then I'll use this symbol for geotechnical sensors using kilonewton. So these are something about forces. Now, the strength of combining these, the reason why I'm showing this is actually to try to show you how complex the use of GPS, or how complex systems GPS can be used in. If we have something like this, we could have strain gauges here. We could have load cells on the ground angles. We would have some kind of relative in kilometry sensors on these ones, on the pile walls. And then we would have, on the top here, we would have some XYZ. We would have some XYZ monitoring on the surrounding structures. And these would relate to GPS reference points. So it's all tied to the GPS reference. So we get this entire area of the XYZs straight. We know that these data are really good. Now these data in here, they're relative data, but what happens here is that we have two complementary systems. So when something starts working here, I don't know if you ever worked with constructors, but the first reaction would be that the sensor is not working. What we can do with this kind of system is that we can say, yeah, there's something happening here, but there's something happening here too, and it's actually correlated. So now we can say, stop excavating. Or we can say, I have even been saying, stop the metro in Copenhagen. And we can feel safe doing it. If you say stop and it was a cry wolf, then you're in some kind of big trouble. I've tried that too. So this is just to tell actually how complex systems you can build from starting with the GPS visualization. Now this is just to show how the system works. We have some automatic sensors, even manual sensors coming into the systems. We have geotechnical observations, geodetic observations, XYZ, coming from GPS and total stations. Then we have a server doing on-the-fly processing, calculation, even evaluations, filtering of data to take noise out of the system. And then we have an alert system going out to different authorities. If it's now down here and you have a meter down here, they might be called if it's in one area. Some other authorities might be alarmed if it's in another area. So you really get some quite complex alarm systems. And you have this going on 24/7. One crucial thing about the system is that we also have a 24/7 monitoring officer that is actually available if something goes wrong. In the beginning we didn't, so they called me all the time, so I realized we needed a group of people taking care of this. I have a small case here. This is a little bit of a side story because the first reaction on a system like this is that, phew, it's expensive, and it is. It's up to millions of euros for a tunneling project. In this Nordhavnsvej-tunnel in Copenhagen, not far from here, we were having more than 1,000 physical sensors that are expensive stuff. A lot of virtual sensors, calculated values, 20 communication units to build the system together, 2 servers, even two internet providers to have 100% uptime. So it was really an expensive system, and in the beginning the constructor was quite annoyed by this. It was a demand by the client. But what it turned out was that the predicted deviations in the structure turned out to be a lot smaller. So in the end, they could use this kind of system to redesign as they were going on. So they actually saved on the last phases of the construction. They saved half of the ground angles. So they ended up saving money on spending. I think all in all, 3 or 4 million euros became quite a large saving, because compared to ground angles, this is really a cheap system. That is just a little bit of, gives you some thought.